Three. I believe we are live.
Do you believe you?
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Don't worry what people say. Enough is enough. All right, baby, we live. Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon. I believe in life, transparency is a beautiful thing. I believe in life, it is okay to appear, to show the human side of who we are. The human side of who we are is, I laid my head down on my pillow, lay your head on my pillow, for like 10 seconds, about an hour and a half ago. And I had a cup of coffee. That's the crazy part. I was like, I'm gonna lay down for like 10 seconds. 10 seconds turn into 90 minutes. Okay? 90 minutes is a whole football game. Not football, football. That is a whole football game. All right. Whatever. There he is. All right, I'm gonna share the link.
I've been
Vic
sitting
Jr.'s
here like a good student, ready to go.
You know, the good student would have walked into the class, seen the teacher sleeping, and said, "Hey, teacher, wake up. We got some learning to do." Okay, and said, "You just sat there with your fruit snacks and your Capri Sun."
And his cap was like this.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have started class by myself.
I mean, maybe you should.
What we doing in the classroom?
Hey,
come on now.
Kick him out the classroom.
What we doing in the classroom?
Oh, that's messed up.
We giving scouting reports in the classroom.
Hey, what we seeing in the classroom? That really fits. The classroom segment really fits. We're actually gonna turn that into a paid segment. What we doing in the classroom?
Yes.
What we gonna call it? Views from the classroom. Hey, what we doing in the class? Hey, listen. Y'all know trendsetters on here. From the 22 live on the scene. True Man, False World reporting live. That's Mo Schefter. That's Vic Jr. Germ So True. We here. Look, we're gonna make this a really, really fun show. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it a quick fun show. Now I don't know how you know. I like to troll a little bit on the low. See, I'm not the high key troll, I'm the low key troll. Feel me? So we're gonna have a little fun with this. And then Mo is gonna poetically put y'all to sleep with a couple of things. See how I put you to sleep? And then poetically put you guys to sleep by sending some people to the principal's office.
Yes.
And then Vic is gonna finish us with a couple jerk moves from the classroom, you know? Like, so, you know, when you see the paper flying across the screen, you know, just know Vic was throwing paper. So, that being said, Mo, I'm actually going to let you take it away for the first part of the show. Get everybody in tune. We're actually going to start with the Scout Extraordinaire today.
Oh, sure. Yes. So, Vic, we're going to get you. We're going to let you kick it off. Obviously, you brought to our attention yesterday some things that you saw on film, and like a jerk, I just ignored it because I picked the dude to lose 19-0. Clearly, I was wrong. Clearly, I wasn't paying attention. But I think we talked so much about young quarterbacks, and obviously not just their impact on the game, but how the new NFL has created more opportunities for success for younger quarterbacks more than before. And I think you continue to see that. But the one thing that remains constant is if you can throw, you can throw. And if you know how to pass, you're going to make some money in this league. You're going to cash some checks in this league. And you're going to help some dudes cash some checks in this league.
Yeah.
And one of those quarterbacks against one of the best defenses in the league, arguably the best pass rush in the league, and we're sitting there through the first quarter, and all I keep hearing Vic is saying, bro, they can't block these dudes. Bro, they can't block these dudes. But then you look up at the end of the day, and they scored 30 points. So just give me your perspective, talking obviously about C.J. Stroud here from the Houston Texans, a team that has been desperate for quarterbacks. Go ahead, bro. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I mean, they, of course, the last one they had was Deshaun Watson, who was fantastic in himself, but we saw how, what ended up happening with that situation. But so far through 4 games, it looked like they made a great draft pick here. And, this kid just looks so far ahead of a lot of these, quarterbacks that have been drafted the last 2 or 3 years. He just looks fully prepared. Jerm talked about it a little bit as well. The fundamentals are there. The basics as a passer, where he lines up his shoulders, his hips, his feet, to wherever his target is going to be. So yesterday's game, we're watching the game, and then I said, if the Texans can put some blocking in front of this kid, he's going to perform. And, you see what happens when a lot of young players, Zach Wilson comes to mind. Who else? There's a couple other names, but if the offensive line is not blocking, they lose confidence. They lose confidence. They're scared that somebody's going to hit them. And that's not only rookies, but veterans go through those kind of experiences. But C.J. Stroud, the pressure that the Texans offensive line has been given up, on him, and he is still able to stand there when he has protection and perform, Germ, or maneuver in the pocket. I mean, the dude looks incredible. It wasn't the most efficient game yesterday, 16 for 30, but again, there was a lot of pressure, and he was still able to make a lot of plays. I mean, to the point where I was making fun of Mo a little bit. They're like, bro, you said 0. They already got 13 by the first quarter. So, the kid looks fantastic. I'm happy for Texans fans specifically that they might have been able to get themselves a nice young quarterback. And then, of course, DeMeco Ryans, who was one of my favorite players, years back, coach. They're obviously doing a fantastic job with that defense as well. So I'm looking forward to see how CJ's career goes along. Again, we're cheering for every single quarterback. Zach Wilson looked good yesterday, but to me right now, CJ looks like he's kind of ahead of the pack within the last, the quarterbacks within the last couple of years.
Yeah. Jeremy, anything you want to add to that?
So when we talked about CJ, the one thing that I did like about him when he played at Ohio State was he could do everything that you needed him to do. The difference is it's always about trusting your eyes. It's always about trusting what you see.
Right.
And you got to be able to be acclimated to the speed of the game. That's the biggest difference between the NFL and college is the speed of the game.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but it seems like the faster speed and the faster pace, he's acclimating into a lot quicker than he did the slower pace, which he could be one of those situations where he's just a weird guy like that. And because that's possible. But you see night and day difference from how he played in his last few games in college compared to how he plays in the NFL. And what I want to really give a shout out to him for is the basics, the fundamentals, the things that everybody else skips. Mm-hmm. When we talk about going to the weight room, he's not skipping leg day. He's not skipping arm day. He's not skipping those small things, and it's showing and it's translated to success on the field. I just want to see him continue to build on it. I know it's only 4 weeks.
Only 4 weeks.
Yeah. 4 weeks of solid football is better than 4 weeks of inconsistent week-to-week football. And even in some of these games, you notice the difference between the Ravens and the Steelers defense is like night and day. The Ravens might have a little bit more talent on the back end, but the Steelers have all the talent on the front end. And it's just for him to be able to perform with that, I think that's going to be the biggest key. But shout out to him, man. Great job.
All right, so since we are in the spirit of fast-paced, jump into my topic, my presentation for the evening. Obviously, one of the hot button topics of the NFL for the last couple of weeks is the brotherly love, I guess is what they're calling it now, with the Philadelphia Eagles, where they line up and it's basically like a rugby push with the quarterback sneak and whatnot. And obviously, they're incredibly efficient at it. Yes, there have been other teams to try it and not be quite as successful with it. So definitely give them credit for the way they do it. Not going to take that away from them. However, and I mean this very strongly, I hate it. I hate the play. It is a stupid play. And on top of it being a stupid play, it is a hypocritical play. Okay? It is a play that by the letter of the NFL law should not be allowed. Why do you say that, Mr. Mo? Glad you asked that, young pupil. About 10 years ago, the NFL made a rule banning the defense from overloading one side of the line to help generate kick blocking things. And on top of that, they made a very specific rule banning, abolishing any player from the other team from pushing any of his teammate at the line of scrimmage for defenses, highlighting player safety. Number one, let me tell you something, because over the last couple of years, as I've had my first exposure to corporate America, let me tell you something about safety when it comes to corporate America, okay? All they talk about, all this safety stuff, they DGAF about your safety. Any safety rules are simply there to protect from lawsuits. It is not to protect your well-being. It is simply there to protect you from lawsuits. Because at the end of the day, if it can benefit the bottom line, they're going to turn a blind eye. And why does this benefit of the bottom line? Because at the end of the day, clearly, we know this, and it's not just the NFL, all major sports, they want more points. More points equals more attraction. More attraction equals more fans equals more money. Because if it was truly about safety, then this play would not be allowed. Because essentially, the very thing that you banned defensive players from doing to help them gain an advantage, you are now all of a sudden turning a blind eye to and allowing offensive players to literally push people at the line of scrimmage forward with the intent. It's not like it's oh my God, let me push him. It is with the intent of several players pushing a player towards the line of scrimmage. And I'm gonna read you something. From Center Will Montgomery of, at the time, Washington Redskins, now the Washington Commanders. I had a game. We played the Bengals. And this is from NFL.com. And I had two guys over me and two guys behind them pushing. So it was basically 4-on-1. My foot slipped, and I actually went down and did a split and pulled a hamstring. I'm like, quote, man, this is ridiculous. Like, it's literally impossible to hold up that much force. I emailed DeMaurice Smith and got the ball rolling with that. That very offseason, the rule changed where you cannot push players on the line of scrimmage. Go back to the rule. Ban pushing of any Team B teammate at the line of scrimmage. So once again, if we abolish defensive players doing it, if we abolish it from the defensive side of the ball, why are we allowing the offensive side to do it? And I'm gonna say this. It's gonna take a brawl at the Palace, at the Malice at the Palace type of fight to get this thing to change, basically. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but it's going to get to a point. I saw it yesterday where Chase Young, literally jumped at the whole pile. And basically all his weight at that point was on Jalen Hurts' neck. Is that what you want? That's not what we want. That's not what we want. And then it turned into pushing and shoving and, ooh, get off me. The play, forget the fact that forget anything other than it is hypocritical, and it is only a matter of time before somebody gets seriously hurt. The rule is already in place that bans defensive players from doing it. There is no reason why offensive players should be allowed to do it. That's my take on it. Keep it simple, because I have points, but we're on fast pace. That's my 2-minute presentation of why I hate this stupid play.
Jerm, what you got on that, Jerm?
I just think that fair is fair. And if the defensive players who already are at a disadvantage in the first place can't do it,
right,
why are we letting the offensive players do it? But this is a classic thing of we pick and choose what we want to see. We pick and choose what we want to be in, what we want, and we pick and choose, obviously, what's right and what's wrong. So, with that being said, I, as a teacher, would just like to say thank you, Mo, for bringing that to the forefront of the classroom, so we can make sure that we understood that we're not being fair here. We appreciate it. Judge Jerm Brown, think he might make an appearance this Sunday, and he might bring the gavel.
Yeah, might talk about it a little more. Okay, Vic, anything you want to add before we get to Jerm's report cards?
I think you covered it, bro. Like it does seem. I never thought about it. You know what I mean? So like when you broke it down very well, and it's, yeah, I mean, the offense to me has a lot of, most of the advantage anyway, bro. And I like a game to have some defense in it too. You know what I mean? It's nice to see offenses execute, but it's also nice to see the defense execute. So they already have a disadvantage with the size up front, right? With the offensive line, they're gonna lose that most of the time. Mm-hmm. And then you got a disadvantage with the DBs and how many times they could touch the damn receivers downfield. We saw that last night, Jerm.
We definitely did. did.
So how many advantages do you want to give to the offense already? You might as well take the defense off the field. I want to see those years. I want to see those years of the 2000 Ravens again. I want to see that every once in a while.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I think this will sum it up for everybody here. Great defensive players, the ones that we want to see, can never be great defensive players if you just keep putting restrictions on what they can do.
Yeah, it's so true. And
because at the end of the day, the quarterback is already somebody who's protected in the pocket. I'm not saying he shouldn't be protected in the pocket, but you're already protecting the quarterback in the pocket. We're already protecting the receivers after 5 yards. We're already protecting the running back at this point. We're already protecting this at this point. So where did the defensive players get any type of breathing? There's already a strike zone now. Now they're saying you got to hit them between the torso to the chest, knowing damn well when you hit somebody that the first thing they do is their head snaps. Remember that head snap? Shout out to
yes.
But that's the beautiful thing about this whole thing. Like, we got to make sure we understand that the defensive players most of the time are the best athletes on the field. Outside of maybe your left tackle, the defensive players are the biggest athletes on the field. So you have to ask yourself, do we want to see these guys be able to perform or no? And if we can't see them perform, who are we hurting? We're not hurting. We're hurting the game.
The integrity of the game is more important to me.
100%. 100%. And again, it's rules are rules. I get it, but let's just at least be consistent. And we already have all these rules in place. Again, this is why I hate that. When I hate when big corporate America wants to throw out the word safety, because I have learned all it is a way to protect themselves from lawsuits.
Mhm.
It is not an actual GAF about your well-being.
Protecting
And
them.
the NFL has completely exposed themselves with that, in my humble opinion.
Mm. Some good criticism right there.
Thank you, sir. Professor Germ, you on mute, baby. There you
I'm
are.
here. I'm ready.
There you are.
Nice.
Okay, so we're gonna turn the floor over to you.
So Mo, just so we can make this go even faster, I want you to alphabetically
Okay.
give me each team, and I'm going to give them a grade. Offense,
Okay.
defense,
Alphabetically.
special teams,
Okay.
overall.
And then, we will do that, and then Vic, after he goes, you just give me 30 seconds on what he says, and then we'll keep moving from there. All right.
Fair enough.
You said you wanted alphabetically, Germ, right?
Alphabetically.
Okay. What we doing in the classroom? Hey, even though this team starts with A, I know they're not getting the A. The Arizona Cardinals are the first team on the list.
Well, let's start here. They're going to get a D plus overall. I'm going to give them a D plus for offense. We see that they're getting a little push on offense. So the offensive line is a little bit better than advertised. The receiver and that skill position group is okay, but it's going to be about the quarterback. Who's going to be the quarterback is probably going to be the biggest thing. D plus there. D plus also for defense and special team. They're not completely worthless. They have some guys. They just have to put it all together. New coach,
Sure.
new everything. D plus is fair because they're not failing, because failing means we're not trying. And I do see that they are competing. And that's why D plus is valid. Vic?
I like that. I agree with it because, they beat the crap out of the Dallas Cowboys, who have been a very good team besides week 3 so at least they're fighting. Like you said, like that's important. It's one thing to not have a great roster. It's another thing to, where the coaches are not getting to the players, and clearly they are getting to the players and they're performing to their best ability.
I think a D plus is more than fair. Next is the Atlanta Falcons.
The Falcons get a B minus.
I like it. I'm
Now,
surprised.
a B minus is going to be this because, number one, they're about 4 or 5 plays from being potentially undefeated or 3-1. I like what we see from the young quarterback. Offensively, they just have to keep getting the ball in Bijan Robinson's hand and the quarterback play mistake-free, and they're going to be right where they need to be. The last 2 weeks, they've had losses, but they started off the season 2-0. Think about that. The turnovers have been the equalizer in them losing the last 2 games. Before that game, they hadn't lost because they hadn't turned the ball over. Defensively, they got some really good pieces. So I'm really interested to see how they continue to gel. The defense, I'm going to give it a it's some really good defense being played over there in Atlanta. I mean, remember, they still held the Jags to about 13 to 16 points. And we're talking about a team that has a pretty good plethora of weapons, pretty good offensive line. That offensive line starting to gel. And Trevor Lawrence, say what you want to say about him, is playing pretty well. So I'm going to give that defense. I'm going to give that defense an A minus because that is a very, very underrated and skilled unit. And the special teams, I'm going to give a B because they still are doing all the key things. There's 3 phases to the game. They're not losing games because of special teams. The unit has competed very well, and they are flipping field position and making sure that they are getting good field position. So a B minus to the Atlanta Falcons. And the offense, I'm going to give a C plus because turnovers are the equalizer to everything.
Vic?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, Desmond Ridder. I know Germ and we're gonna talk about it in a minute here with Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. They're both of their coaches respectively said, we're gonna open up the playbook to you. We're gonna give you more things to do at the line of scrimmage on your own. Let's do the same thing with Desmond Ridder. You drafted him, let him kind of work on some things that make him comfortable. Kyle Pitts needs to see the ball more. Drake London needs to see the ball more. But like you said, let's run the ball 60-40, please. Run the ball 60-40, and Atlanta got a chance to take this division.
2 things I'm going to say. I'm going to call him Desmond Riddler for now because he is still the enigma moving forward. That's a bar if you catch it. And number 2, by the end of the year, the Falcons defense could be top 10 scoring defense in the league. I mean, they have all the pieces there, as Jerm has talked about. Speaking of enigmas, the Baltimore Ravens are next on the list.
Baltimore offense. I think that there are some changes that they've made there, and the changes that they've made have been interesting. But the biggest thing I like the most about Baltimore in particular is I enjoy the fact that they are attempting to run the ball with the running backs a little bit more. If they solidify the unit, get healthy up front, that's an A- unit at worst, because they're going to be right there. The receivers are the receivers are the receivers. It is what it is. Now, that defense, I'm going to give the defense an A+. Why? Roquan Smith is playing the best middle linebacker in football. Period. He is the catalyst for their success. Roquan Smith is the best middle linebacker in the National Football League, and he is not only staking his claim for Defensive Player of the Year this year, but he is the single reason why that defense is an A+ for me right now. The pass rushers are cool. Everybody else is doing their job, but Roquan Smith is effing incredible. And the film will show you he is everywhere. He's closing in the zones faster than anybody we've ever seen with a Raven uniform on at linebacker. He is playing the best middle linebacker in Ravens history. And I said it on the scene.
Damn.
He is better than prime Ray Lewis right now because he's faster and he's better at diagnosing plays in front of him. That is a torpedo waiting to dislodge the football. And special teams, the special teams unit is a C+. We're not flipping field position with some of the athletes that we have. They have a lot of quick twitch athletes that we got to see start to make some plays. Overall, Baltimore Ravens are a B+, and they are 3-1 for a reason. They could be 4-0. And we got to remember that. Could be 4-0.
Yeah.
Couple plays here and there are why they're a bad team in January. Now we got to clean this up in the regular season. You got the driver's seat now for the AFC North. Let's get it done. B+, Baltimore Ravens.
And I, again, 100% agree with that grade. I think offensively, we saw the Browns didn't do what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? They let Lamar get out of the pocket. They let him run the ball all over them. Like you said, Germ, they're allowing the balance of more running back touches and to kind of taking some of that pressure off of Lamar. And then when the play is there for him to score, he's going to score. So definitely the Ravens look like definitely a threat with the two of the teams in the AFC North struggling.
Definitely, we got to talk about your Ray Lewis, Roquan Smith comment.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes, we will.
Controversial James.
Again, and we'll talk about this some more. My biggest concern still with the Baltimore Ravens, and this is why we called Aaron Rodgers arrogant Aaron for a reason. My biggest concern is that when it matters most, I see Lamar sometimes is lazy with his fundamentals. And it's lazy because it's arrogant, not because of anything else. And that's why you see him sometimes miss on Texas routes or certain very necessarily good timing routes when it matters because he gets lazy. We'll expand on that. Buffalo Bills. Curious to see what your grade is here for the Buffalo Bills, Jerm.
A-. Why? Offense is an A-. If they run the ball, they're probably a juggernaut on offense.
Agreed.
That's how close we are right now for the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs still can't be covered by anybody in the league. Defensively, that unit is still a B+ unit. It's really just a solid bunch of guys who do their effing job. That's all it is. It's nothing. There's nothing to see here, folks. We just gonna come up. We're just gonna hit people. We're gonna make short tackles in the open field, and that's really all it is. And Buffalo still, to me, is one of the top 5 special team units every year in the league. You got New England, you got Buffalo. Their special teams units are A-, A+ units every year because they do what? They help the defense, and they're very good at getting the offense in good field position in certain situations. I love that unit. I like the way they play, and it's made up of really, really good mental players. Again, tackling is the biggest part of special teams is fundamentals and tackling. And guess what? It seems that Buffalo is good at both of those. So that's why they have a good special teams unit. A minus for that franchise. Buffalo, this is your year. Let's see you do it. A minus for 4 weeks. Vic.
Yeah, listen, today, fellas, I got criticized in the group for, somebody decided to misinterpret what I said, and that's okay. Thank you for watching. But the one that I really messed up with, Germ, is that I said without Jordan Pryor, the Buffalo Bills are going to struggle to stop the Miami Dolphins. And guess what? That didn't happen. Okay, the Dolphins, stopped the Broncos with 20 points last week and dropped 70 on them. Well, this week they were only able to drop 20 themselves on this Buffalo defense. So that's a perfect grade for them. Again, I think they could get an A+ if they run the football just like we've been asking them to do for like the last 5 years or ever since they've drafted Josh Allen. So I agree with that grade for the Bills as well.
Yeah. 2 things I'll say. Number one, as far as that defensive unit, Von Miller is still not there, but he is expected to return shortly. Number 2, decrease the usage of Josh Allen. Increase how much you want to run the football. It is amazing
Absolutely.
how much the middle of the field opens up for the passing game between the hashes when you run the football. And the more easy throws you can give the quarterback from the pocket, the likelihood of success increases. Next on the docket, the Carolina Panthers. I believe they are one of the 2 teams that have yet to get a win in the NFL. A win forward.
F. They get an F. Why they get an F? We didn't protect the quarterback. What the F are we doing? All right. Defensively, you got a lot of good pieces. It just feels like they're just all over the place majority of the time. Nothing there makes sense. So take Brian Burns and trade him away. Take your good players and give them the good teams. Because I'm getting sick and tired of y'all wasting the prime of these good athletes.
Okay.
And then they go to good teams, and then they sitting here, then they get hurt or something. I'm tired of that. I'm tired. You get a D+ because I do still kind of like y'all unit. It's just y'all not performing right now. But
no,
they have so much talent.
Yeah,
Special teams
do.
gets an F, and it simply gets an F because I don't even know what I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing? What are we doing? There's nothing else to be said. Carolina, what the F are we doing? That's why you get an F. The quarterback is the most important position, and I just feel like he's not set up to succeed. And if he's not set up to succeed, then nobody's going to succeed in Carolina. Vic, go ahead.
Listen, man, I got my concerns. I told Mo about this when he first got drafted. This kid is tiny. He is probably the smallest quarterback in years in terms of height and weight ratio, okay? Even smaller than Tua. And I was concerned for Tua's career after he got slammed around last year. So if the Carolina Panthers cannot block for this kid, I am concerned. He has the talent to be good in this league. Will he be protected, though? Will he be protected? That's what I'm afraid of. And I agree with Germ. There's an F all across the board. While he gave the defense a D+, that talent, man, we don't want to trade a Brian Burns. That's a pass rusher you cannot trade. But I understand if you want to see him in a better team, that's a whole different perspective, of course.
Yes. First of all, just the state of North Carolina is one of my favorite states in the nation. Carolina will always get an A-, A+ from me. Next is the Chicago Bears. Yeah. All right, they're suspended. They got an in-school suspension right now.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give them an F.
Why?
I'm gonna give them an F for 2 reasons. Because your quarterback is not using the main F, which is fundamentals, and your offense is struggling because of it. The other reason why your offense is struggling is because your front office gets an F because we took 40 million tight ends over the last couple of drafts, and we still can't run the football and seal the edges. Then the other part of why we get an F is that defensive unit. You traded the best middle linebacker in football and just pawned him away. Well, I mean, what does that defense look like if it still had Roquan Smith in it?
Yep.
I tell you, it does look different. And I tell you that the defensive unit wouldn't get an F. But the defensive unit gets a D minus. They got a couple pieces there we can still use. They're not useless. They're not worthless. They're trying. But I mean, it's only so much trying we can do if we're gonna be on the field the whole game because we punting every time. I guarantee y'all, and this is what I mean looking. I bet you the Bears are top 7 in the league in punts.
They probably are, Vic.
And special teams, it's nothing really to say about special teams. I mean, I'm going to get that. That's a to be determined because I really don't know what. It's unfair to grade the special teams considering that the punter's on the field. But I give the punter an A because he's always out there being consistent. Hey man, good job, buddy.
So what was the overall team grade?
Oh, a D, F. They already got an F for sure.
Oh, they got F. I mean, hey, listen, they had a better game yesterday. They kind of let Justin Fields kind of play his own game a little bit, adjust some things at the line of scrimmage, and he performed a lot better. The second half was inconsistent. Shout out to Jerry who has joined us. He pointed that out. First half was outstanding. Second half was inconsistent again. So again, just let Justin Fields kind of just play more relaxed and see what happens. Maybe you'll get a higher grade in the next 4 weeks.
Matt Eberflus, he's got to go. Okay, the Bears right now are an embarrassment. Speaking of, I don't know about embarrassment, but the Cincinnati Bengals. Ugh.
I'm going to give you guys a spoiler. We won't even finish. We're not even going to finish this today. I'm only going to do 3 more teams. The Bengals is team number 1 of the 3. And watch this. Number 1, the offense gets an F minus. Let me explain this to you. You have arguably the best receiver in the league right now in Ja'Marr Chase. And we are not utilizing him to the full potential that we should. T. Higgins is a number 1 on 9 out of 10 teams. We're going to be honest. I'm not a big fan of T. Higgins, but he's definitely an X. He's definitely an X. There's no, like, if there's a question about certain players, there's no question that he's an X. Why are we not using some of these things to our advantage? Why are we not stacking those 2 players on one side of a formation and causing people to have to pick who they're going to guard coming off that line of scrimmage? Mm-hmm. Those stack formations are some of the most simple things that you can do to create mismatches. And also with some of the route concepts that we have and the way they can't touch the players, you can do a lot with that, with those 2 players.
Yeah.
Like, my imagination has ran wild with the things that we can do with that Cincinnati team. And I'm still confused. What are we doing with the offensive line? Will the real Cincinnati Bengals offense stand up? Listen, the replacement with Boobie Miles had a better offensive line than the Cincinnati
Falco, you mean?
Yes.
With what's his name?
Friday Night Lights, excuse me, is the name. It's Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Talking about Fights on Love. The opposite. The offensive line with Fights on Love was better. Yes.
Like any given Sunday. What are we doing? You listen, defensively, what the F is going on? That's an F too. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, what there is no rhyme or reason to anything that they're doing right now. Special teams to be determined. Don't really care about you right now because the offense and defense are playing so bad. I don't even want to look at the special teams. I just want to say that this Cincinnati Bengals team, everybody on that team need their ass whooped. And that's including Zach Taylor. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of Zach Taylor. Please,
I agree.
Find him another job in the TV color analyst booth or something.
No, I
Vic,
agree.
Please take it. Vic, please
agree with that.
Vic, take it, please, so I can chill. Please take it so I can chill.
Yeah. Let me grab it for you. Let me grab it away from you. I might kind of piss you off with some numbers here, though, Germ. So I'm letting you know ahead of time here. First and foremost, 156 pass attempts to 84 rush attempts. Is your quarterback hurt or not? Is your offensive line poor at pass blocking or not? What are we going to do here? Do you have Joe Mixon in your backfield or not? Do you have some of the biggest tight ends in the league or not? I got questions here. Okay, run the fucking football. I've been talking. Damn, my bad. I used the one F that we get.
Yeah.
Bro,
Oh, is that 2 times in a row? My bad.
I already paid the fines yesterday, brother. Come on now.
And then 12 sacks, Germ, in 4 games, 4 touchdowns in 4 games. 4 touchdowns in 4 games. Joseph?
I'm gonna save most of my opinion for Thursday or Wednesday whenever we do the follow-up show to this, and we can sit down. I'm gonna give the Bengals an elementary grade. I'm gonna give them a U, okay, for unsatisfactory. All right, that's my grade for the Bengals.
That's actually a compliment.
I'm not saying it's a diss.
Listen, ain't no F in participation awards here. F that. They get an F. They get an F for F up. Last 2 teams, and it's a to be continued.
Yeah, last 2 teams are the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. Start with the Cleveland Browns. Yes.
The Cleveland Browns, my pick for the Super Bowl. They get a C. And they get a C because I'm sick of the inconsistent play. I'm sick of it. Kevin Stefanski, if you don't bring your ass here, let me talk to you. Come closer. Get so close right now. I am sick. I am a black man in Cleveland, Ohio. Currently in Columbus, but you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm a black man in Cleveland, Ohio. I refuse to listen to this, to watch this pedestrian brand of football we keep playing called the West Coast offense.
Oh, man.
What are we doing? If I see one more play where Jerome Ford gets stopped for -5 yards because we keep trying to stretch the ball like he's Nick Chubb, I'm going to scream. And not only am I going to scream, I'm going to come to your house. And I'm going to show you how to be an offensive coordinator. This is ridiculous. You have to adjust what you're doing. You don't have the same tailback that you had before. So you have to adjust what you have. You'll conform to the talent that you currently have on your roster.
Amen.
Amen.
Jerome Ford is a downhill runner. He is not a zone blocking scheme runner. Outside zone, absolutely. If I see another outside zone play, Vic, if I see another outside zone, I'm going to be outside his home and it's going to go down. You understand what I'm talking about?
Oh, yo,
the
there's one thing that, folks, real quick. There's one thing that a lot of fans don't understand is that a lot of these running backs, are specific to certain zone schemes or running schemes, very specific. Nick Chubb is one of those rare guys that not even Adrian Peterson did this. Nick Chubb is one of those rare running backs that can run all the different run schemes. Proceed though, my bad.
Okay, no, you good. I
not
wasn't
least.
sure if Jerm wanted to finish it or not.
Last but not least, defensively. The defense gets a A-. Solid pressure. They get all of the small things done. The problem is, again, going to be injuries. If they do not fix these, we can't turn them off, but you have to make sure you keep Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, and all of those interior guys healthy. So that means that is excellent. Shout out to Jim Schwartz. That's a beautifully put together, well-coached unit. They're one of the 3 best units in football. Let's make sure that we give them their credit. They get a C because the offense is getting the D, and the defense is getting an A. And that's what we're going to do with that A- and the D, and that's what we get. Cleveland Browns special teams is fine. You're doing the things that you're supposed to do. The punter has pinned some teams deep. The punter did not help change the field positions yesterday. What the problem was all, hey, Cleveland fans, remember that quarterback that you guys was acting like Deshaun was so bad? The offense moves when Deshaun's in the game.
It does.
It doesn't move when other people aren't in the game because Deshaun gives another threat. Deshaun is a smart quarterback, despite what y'all may think. Respect the man as he massages through the wrinkles of the rust of the year.
I said let's leave it there. We've done 25% of the league so far, and we end with the C's, and then we save the D for later. Not Vic has said that before to somebody.
Oh,
So
Pause, bro. Martin Luther King,
that's why I
Dr.
paused.
King
Did you see me
talk.
pause? Did you see my pause? I was like,
yeah.
I ain't even moved. Like, that was wrong. Oh,
We should have a decent game tonight. I mean, I'm gonna have it on in the background. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I am curious to see if the Giants can. Daniel Jones is 0-6 on Monday Night Football, bro. That is
At
not
some
what
point-
you need.
At some point, that has to end.
hey,
At some point,
let me
that has
say-
to end. I agree.
but I just don't think it's gonna end with no Saquon Barkley in the lineup. So
Right.
really
There's no
easily put-
Saquon.
give me the Seahawks.
There's no Saquon. They're already struggling to put up points. They're struggling to stop anybody from putting up points. I just don't see a formula where the Giants can string some wins here. So I'm gonna take the Seahawks by about 6.
Listen, man, a lot of my predictions were off this week. This week was a weird week, especially the first wave of games. But like you guys said, I mean, the drop off from Saquon, and we have our criticisms for Saquon, but the drop off from Saquon as a playmaker to the second running back is probably the worst in the league. Like usually you have some guys behind every running back that can really play. You know, it's the running back position, but Matt Breida, man, I didn't even think he still had a job, to be honest with y'all. So, you know, again, on paper, the Seahawks should be able to take care of this game. I'm going to take them. The Giants should be able to make it close because I think the Seahawks got some weaknesses that they need to get better at. But give me the Giants. I mean, give me the Seahawks to win this game on a tight one. Might be a low-scoring game.
All right, Joe. So obviously we will regroup. The fellas and I will talk. Hopefully I don't fall asleep next time. And we'll set up a nice lab show Thursday, maybe. And we'll get ready for we'll get it back into the groove of it.
We trying.
That's Vic.
Yep.
I'm Chef. That's another chef down there. Take us home, True. 2-2, baby.